What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
All right. What is it? Tuesday night? It must be the Radio Baloney Tuesday Night Live. I'm your host, Richie Baloney. How's everybody doing out there? Good to see you, Rosie. How you doing? So what are we going to talk about? Let's go through the menu quickly. So we're going to talk about the South African refugees. We're going to talk about these South African refugees, all like 60 of them, and how much the left is freaking out. And it tells you a lot about the kind of elite culture in the United States, but also it's really just the Western world, because it's all just the same thing. The elites, the establishment are the same right across the Western world. I'm talking about the media. I'm talking about academia. I'm talking about leftist politicians. They are all exactly the same and totally predictable. So we're going to go through this quite a bit, actually. There's a lot to talk about, actually, and some connections like this crazy Episcopalian bishop who embarrassed herself in front of Trump at the Trump prayer service some months ago. So, yeah, it actually takes us in some surprising places, but we'll take a look at this, and are they really refugees? And yeah, they are. We're going to talk about Pierre Poilievre responding to Mark Carney's cabinet announcement, and this is quite good, because the cabinet is just the same people. Here is the CBC being biased. Here's a very pained Rosemary Barton talking about Pierre Poilievre. Pierre Poilievre, did you know that he's mean? He's mean, and she doesn't like him. So, but she got a raise for Mark Carney. So, well, the CBC did. Let's see. Yeah, let's take a look at what we can expect from Carney, because he's going to invest an enormous amount of money that he's going to have to borrow. He's going to invest in, a green energy stuff. So we'll take a look at how all the green energy stuff from Trudeau went. Under Mark Carney's advisement, of course. And spoiler alert, not good. We've got some woke mind virus stuff here. Let's see. Transfeminist pregnancy. This should be good. So this is an academic paper, which is obviously utterly ridiculous, as apparently most of them are these days, it seems. Let's see. Here's Montreal, Hamasniks standing on a church. If this was a mosque, if this was Christians doing this at a mosque, it would probably get a very different reaction. But because we're crazy, it doesn't matter. Let's see. Keir Starmer is saying that all new immigrants must speak English now. That might have been a good rule to have all along, actually, considering it's England and they speak English there. Let's see. But here's a police officer telling somebody that it's a crime to say that people should speak English. And yeah, they're completely insane. Airstrip 1 is not doing well. Let's get to the last bookmark, and it's just a bunch of random stuff. This is how we like to end it off. Usually some funny stuff. There's some politics in here too, but there's animals. We like animals as a palate cleanser. There's a robot lady that people will buy to hang out with. I will take a look at that. Let's see. Bunch of stuff. Let's see. Fights in Walmarts. That's nice. Flamethrower drones. Those are awesome. Eventually, they'll be turned against us by Skynet. But, I don't know. Here's the thing about purple, the color purple. And I haven't even watched it. I just thought it sounded interesting. And we'll watch it together the first time. There's a cat who's really Batman and a horse and all kinds of things and crazy people. And you know how it goes. Let's see. All right. So I'm doing very well, Rosie. I'm glad you're doing well. I hope everybody has had a good start to the week, an excellent start to the week. And let's see. So what are we? We're Tuesday tonight. We'll be back on Friday. I do have to schedule a premium only stream. We don't have any hours of premium only so far this month, and I have to get 5 hours in. So we're going to have to schedule one of those soon and try and get at least a couple of hours in. We need to do 5 for the month. And they usually turn out being pretty fun. Rosie says, I think I might need a flamethrower drone. Yes, need. Looks pretty cool. I'm sure Elon Musk sells them. All right. Okay. So anyway, that looks like a fun ride. All right. Shall we just get to it? Okay, let's go to South Africa. So the left is freaking out because Donald Trump has allowed white refugees into the United States from Western Lensman. One of these videos generated a massive amount of outrage from Democrats and their propaganda press. The other didn't register a blip. Well, let's see. Here you have the white South Africans, and then you have just the border being overrun. But they're not white, so that's okay. You heard this was all fine. This was good, in fact. This is terrible. This is white supremacy. 60 white people from South Africa. Good Lord. It's white supremacy. The left is it's just gone completely mask off at this point. The refugees, the Episcopal Church, refused to help escape genocide in South Africa, are arriving in the U.S. So the Episcopal Church, the Episcopal Church, and that's remember her from the church, from the Trump prayer service. The one who lectured him took the opportunity to. She's just beyond woke. She's the super woke. Well, she's Episcopal. So, in fact, let's take a look at what she had to say. She was pleading for empathy, but not for everybody, I guess.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops.
See, she should have been more specific. All of those people, except white South Africans. She wasn't specific enough. The hypocrisy of these lunatics is it's too much to believe almost. Let's see. So, and of course, the left is saying that they're not actually refugees. Of course, here, Biden-Harris senior staffer supports taking land away from white South Africans who could go back to Germany. Go back to, well, they're from Holland. Let's see. Originally, but we're talking, originally, their ancestors settled South Africa in the 1640s. They've been there for hundreds of years. Suppose that means nothing. So let's see. Trump on South Africa. They're saying that The left is saying, oh, there's nothing going on there. There's no problem. No problem. These aren't real refugees. What does Trump say?
Killed, and we don't want to see people be killed. Now, South Africa leadership is coming to see me, I understand, sometime next week. And, we're supposed to have I guess, a G20 meeting there or something. But we're having a G20 meeting. I don't know how we can go unless that situation's taken care of. But it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about. But it's a terrible thing that's taking place. And farmers are being killed. They happen to be white. But whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. And the newspapers and the media, television media, doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they talk about it. That would be the only story they talk about. And I don't care who they are. I don't care about their race, their color. I don't care about their height, their weight. I don't care about anything. I just know that what's happening is terrible. I have people that live in South Africa. They say it's a terrible situation taking place. So we've essentially extended citizenship to those people to escape from that violence and come here. Yeah.
So let's see. So Trump is saying there's a problem and that they're really refugees. Let's see. I wonder, what is this here? South Africa is currently leading the ICJ court case against Israel, claiming a genocide is taking place. Let's see. South Africa is the same country where white farmers are currently being killed in a genocide. South African politician Julius Malema. So what's going on here? So this is Julius Malema, and he's the leader of the fourth largest political party in South Africa. Here he is, obviously having a rally at a stadium. There's clearly tens of thousands of people there. Now, what's he saying? Could this possibly give us a clue as to why these people would want to apply for asylum in the United States? Let's take a look.
Come on, sir. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa. Attention.
So he's leading a chant in a stadium for tens of thousands of people to chant, kill the Boer, the farmer, and then with machine gun noises. So I'm sold. I'm sold. If I was living in that country, I would want to get the hell out immediately. I don't know. It seems fairly obvious, doesn't it? Let's see. Rumble user says white South Africans are from the Netherlands. Well, that's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said. And 300 years ago, I believe it was 1647. 1647 is when the first settlers went there. But in any case, let's see. Kill the Boer, kill the farmer. Machine gun noises. Let's see. Stadium. That's a powerful political leader in South Africa. Tens of thousands of people really thrilled at it. That guy seems pretty happy. Yeah, I'm sold. I'm sold. Let him in. Let him in. It seems fairly obvious. Huh. New York Times, though. I mean, they're not so sure. New York Times. When is this from? This is from August 2nd, 2023. What do they say? Kill the Boer song fuels backlash in South Africa and U.S. Right-wing commentators, commenters claim that an old anti-apartheid chant is a call to anti-white violence. But historians and the left-wing politician who embraces it says it should not be taken literally. Yeah, whatever you do, don't take the song Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer, machine gun noises. Don't take that literally, obviously. Don't listen to right-wingers. I mean, right-wingers are the only people bigoted enough. I mean, just bigoted enough to actually think that a song called Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer with machine gun noises might mean kill the Boer. Rosie says, terrifying rally. I agree. That would make me want to get out of South Africa. Let's see. kill the Boer. Now, let's see. So what is the New York Times? The New York Times, you have to understand, they're sophisticated and nuanced. So, I mean, they can understand the nuance here that you might not understand in the rally chanting, kill the Boer. The political rally was winding down when the brash leader, he's such a brash leader, that Malema, with his kill all the white people chants. He's so brash. The brash leader of a leftist South African party. Leftist? Is it leftist? What does Wikipedia have to say here? Let's see. Well, there is Julius Malema, economic freedom fighters, and let's see. Oh, they're communist. They're communists. I see. They're communists, but they're just leftist in this, I guess. I guess it's the same thing now. Leftist and communist is just the same thing at this point. Leftist South African party grabbed the microphone and began to stomp and chant. Thousands of supporters joined in, and when he reached the climax, they pointed their finger in the air like guns. Kill the Boer, Julius Malema chanted, referring to white farmers. The crowd in a stadium in Johannesburg on Saturday roared back in approval. A video clip of that moment shot across the internet and was seized upon by some Americans on the far right who said that it was a call to violence. Can you believe those bigoted far-righters, those bigoted right-wingers? They don't have the nuance and the subtlety that the New York Times has. That notion really took off when Elon Musk, who's from South Africa, the South African-born billionaire who left the country as a teenager, chimed in. He said they are openly pushing for a genocide of white people in South Africa. But only some kind of uneducated rube could jump to that conclusion from a stadium all chanting "kill the Boer" together. Mr. Malema leads the Economic Freedom Fighters, a party that advocates taking white-owned land to give to black South Africans. They are communists, remember. That has made his embrace of the chant all the more disturbing to some whites. Yeah, I bet. Despite the words, the song should not be taken as a literal call to violence, according to Mr. Malema and veterans and historians of the anti-apartheid struggle. It has been around for decades, one of the many battle cries of the anti-apartheid movement that remain a defining feature of the country's political culture. Well, maybe we should take another look at that again, and I guess we missed out on all of the nuance and everything, so let's take another look.
Alliance shoot to kill. Kamaza, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa, brr, pa.
No, I think he actually does want to kill all the white farmers with the shoot to kill thing and kill them, like literally saying to kill them. Yeah, I think he actually wants to do it. I think the New York Times might be a little bit off on this one. And have we ever used the words moral confusion on this channel? Have we ever? Let's see. So the media doesn't like it. Inside the extraordinary. So this is the New York Times again, by the way. Right? Again, this is for those sophisticated readers. Inside the extraordinary contradiction in Trump's immigration policies. Extraordinary contradictions. It's 60 people, for God's sakes. The Trump administration carved out an exception to its refugee ban for white South Africans. But other groups, including Afghans who helped U.S. forces during the war in their country, are being shut out. We all know that if it was anybody else, if they were not white, you would not care. The only reason that you care is because they're white, because you are bigoted, because you are far left. We all know this. It's 60, and it's like the end of the world. And by the way, they're legal immigrants. They've all been vetted, right? They're not going to need to rely on the government for support. It's just amazing how they just, well, I mean, let's take a look. Let's see. Why is Trump given white South Africans refugee status from Al Jazeera? White South Africans arrive in U.S. Trump's genocide claim disputed. Genocide claim disputed. White South Africans arrive at Dulles as Refugees under Trump order. White, 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 white. It's the only time they seem to care about the race of the. It just otherwise they're just otherwise it's just everybody. Borders should not exist. Everybody's welcome. It's the greatest strength. Blah 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 blah. Trump administration faces criticism for prioritizing white. They can't stand it. It's 60 people. They cannot stand it. Trump defends move to grant refugee status to Afrikaners. All right. So it seems like they all of these people, they just have a problem with white people, just like Malema. Let's see. So what are they fleeing? What are they fleeing? All South Africans, regardless of race, should be wary of race laws. This is a South African newspaper. According to research conducted by the Institute of Race Relations, South Africa currently has 142 race-based laws on the statute books. So there were race-based laws under apartheid too, and really the point was supposed to be that you just don't have that. But now there's even more. So, by the way, the ANC is a socialist party. So the Democratic breakthrough of 1994 should have signaled the end of an era of racial discrimination and a shift towards a truly fair society. Not happening, where all people are treated equally regardless of their skin color. But the African National Congress, as always, did not discern our history's important lesson. Since then, it has gone on to surpass South Africa's apartheid-era peak of number of race laws on the book. So more race laws now than under apartheid. So, but see, under leftist theory, that's good. That's good, right? Like you're supposed to, like the fix for past discrimination is current and future discrimination. That's the way they see it. Seems like a bad idea to me. Let's see. South African president signs controversial land seizure law from January 2025. So what's going on here? South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has signed into law a bill allowing land seizures by the state without compensation. Did I mention that they're socialists? A move that has put him at odds with some members of his government. So they've signed a law so they can just, and this is for white farmers who produce almost all of the agricultural product in South Africa. This is so they can just steal their land. Just literally steal it without compensation, just steal it. And this is racial. So I don't know. That might be something that might be a problem, right? They're just going to steal everything from you because of your color. Hold on a second. So, I want to show you something else. So you've got the Kill the Boer. He's not the only politician who leads rallies like this, by the way. But I want to show you something else. Yeah, these are the people that the media is so terrified of becoming American citizens, becoming, refugees to the United States. And there's only one reason, and they're fully masked off. Let's see, from Dr. Malouf, each cross represents a white farmer who was murdered in South Africa. So let's take a look. Each one of these crosses is a farmer who was murdered in South Africa. And by the way, when this happens, they don't just murder, it's the most gruesome medieval torture you can imagine. I'm not going to get into it on this video, but it's truly inhuman what happens to these poor people and their families. So let's see. You've got the Road of the Dead. You've got you've got politicians chanting, encouraging their followers to kill you. So, oh yes, and also they're going to take everything you own. They're going to take your land. First, this will be for the farmers, but of course it never stops there. It'll just be everybody, and it's all based on race. So I don't know. I'm sold. Let them in. Let them in. They can go to. I think Canada should accept a bunch of them as well. Clearly, this is heading in a very, very tragic direction. Obviously, right? This isn't like when you see this. This isn't some like small Facebook group. Okay, this is a stadium of people. Like, it's obviously millions of people share this attitude, the same attitude as him, right? When you have a very powerful political figure doing this publicly, that's a warning. That's telling you that things are going in a very, very bad direction. Now, most South Africans, as I understand it, don't actually want to leave because they've been there. Their families have been there for hundreds of years. Since the 1600s, since the mid 1600s, you know, their first ancestors there, and they don't want to leave, and that's their culture. And look, there was nothing there when they got there. Like, there were no cities, there were no farms, there was no kingdom, there was nothing. That's why they picked the place. But yeah, I'm sold. I'm sold, right? It all just seems like total lunacy to me. I mean, look at this. South Africa could become a failed state, says ANC's Fikile Mbalula. So, like Nigeria, once they take the farms, it'll become like Zimbabwe. Sorry. So, South Africa could become a failed state, says ANC's Fikile Mbalula. So, yeah, it'll become like Zimbabwe. So once they take the land, as Zimbabwe did from the white farmers, they will become like that. Zimbabwe had, I believe, like $1 trillion notes. Like it was the worst inflation in history was caused by that, and I believe they actually were printing off like multi-trillion-dollar bills. That will happen in South Africa. Exactly. That the exact same thing will happen in South Africa. South Africa could become a failed state, but is yet to reach that point, a senior official of the ruling African National Congress has said. Let's see. The admission by ANC Secretary comes as South Africa experiences power cuts known as load shedding for up to 10 hours a day. This was once a very advanced technological society. This load shedding has just made a mess of our country. Well, socialists took over, and once they take over, of course, they're incompetent. They don't understand how a society functions well, and they just start stealing everything. So there you go. You can thank Karl Marx for that one. That's the white guy they should be mad at, Karl Marx. He's the one who's really responsible for destroying this civilization. But why is the left so angry that they let in 60 white South Africans? It could just be 60 from anywhere, right? It doesn't matter. Like, let's listen to this person here. What is she saying? This was posted by Vince Langham.
So now Trump is importing apartheid supporters from South Africa. You can't make this shit
So why is she saying apartheid supporters? She's just making that up.
up. So it's very apparent what's happening here. We're importing white racists and deporting anybody that isn't white.
Deporting people that are in the country illegally, regardless of their color, you absolute dingbat.
And it is very clear what's going on here. So what we need to do, the decent people who are left in this country need to ostracize and marginalize anybody that supports Trump.
So I guess the decent people need to insist that 20 million people cross the border illegally every 4 years, and no whiteys, no white people. That's what the decent people support, apparently.
Anybody that is in his regime, him, any Republican senators, any MAGA people out there need to be ostracized and marginalized so that they know that we're not going to put up with this shit. It's fucking
See, this is all mirroring, because that's what she fears. Like the left, they fear the ostracization. That's why they're all so. That's why they are the ultimate conformists, because nobody polices the left more than the left. They are not allowed to disagree on anything. Something that was perfectly fine 5 minutes ago might have been declared right wing, and all of a sudden now you have to go right along with that. So you have to keep up with whatever new, fresh lunacy they come up with. You have to keep up with it every step of the way. If you're one step behind them, you're on the far right now. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it was fine 10 minutes ago. Now you're on the far right. Nobody polices them. In fact, I think they enjoy policing each other more than anybody. And if they disagree on anything, they're now out. So she says you got to ostracize them. That word doesn't really have the same power outside of the radical left, which is basically the left now. But that's the way they see the world. It's mirroring.
ridiculous.
Ridiculous. She probably considers herself to be an educated, sophisticated voter as well, I'll bet. I'll bet she does. And smugly looks down on those stupid people who bothered to take a look at, like, I don't know, like this guy threatening to kill the people that Trump let into the country.
Alliance, shoot to kill. Come on, sir. Kill the poor, the poor.
Again, I'm sold. I'm sold. It seems pretty obvious to me. Pretty obvious to me. How much more plain could it be? How much? Only like a New York Times writer could watch that and go, "Oh, it's nothing. Oh, it's just an old folk song." Really, I don't. It doesn't seem like a folk concert to me. What else have we got in here? And just all of the fuss to just stop these people. Look at what flag are they waving there? What flag are they waving? They've got American flags. They don't have South African flags. They've got American flags. It seems like they actually want to be Americans. Oh, that's a terrible thing, isn't it? I guess that when they see people going in there, for one thing, they're white, so obviously they're evil. But also now they've got American flags, so obviously that makes them even more evil. What a bizarre level of moral confusion in the Western world today. Genuinely disturbing. By the way, here's some people say that there's some sort of replacement plan, something like that, some sort of replacement conspiracy or something. I don't know where they get these crazy ideas from.
I would argue it's unlike any other large country in the world. So there's a second thing in that black box, an unrelenting stream of immigration, nonstop. Folks like me who were Caucasian of European descent, for the first time in 2017, will be in an absolute minority in the United States of America. Absolute minority. Fewer than 50% of the people in America from then and on will be white European stock. That's not a bad thing. That's a source of our strength. I would argue it's
that's a source of your strength. Biden told you, so you know it's true. All right. So there are times when I get, this is another one of those alternate reality things where you see the left take its mask off and you can't, you think, well, why wouldn't they try and hide it? Why wouldn't they try and hide how awful they are, how evil they are? right? Surely they would realize that people will notice this and be horrified and appalled by it. Surely they would realize that, wouldn't they? Apparently not. Apparently not. All right. Let's get to the chat. All right. What's going on? So apparently YouTube saw South African refugees in the title and decided, oh, nobody's going to get to see that. We don't want you talking about that. Interesting. It's interesting how many people will see your video based on what's in the title, if it's politically correct or not. Let's see. Rosie said, terrifying rally. If they are saying kill the boar, Carney might need to take notice. I'm sure Carney absolutely approves of his Malema's message there. Yeah, shoot to kill. Very clear. I agree. Izzy, how you doing? Good to see you. Evening Ollie says, is it possible I got like number 2? I think you did. We got kind of we don't have much of the crowd in tonight. So you know what? First like always gets double good karma, obviously. But tonight we're gonna go triple good karma. Triple good karma. I'm sure it's Rosie that got it. Triple good karma for Rosie. And double good karma for Izzy. Double. For being awesome. And of course, any further likes get a regular a dose of good karma. Obviously, when you subscribe to the channel as well. All right. Let's see. Rosie says, too many crosses to count. Yeah. Let's see. Rumble user said, Simon Aventer left South Africa last year, moved to Georgia, but continued to receive e-threats, closed all her accounts. There's another channel too, Serpenza. He lived in China for a while, and he has a channel talking about China and how messed up China is. But he's South African, and he has a couple of he grew up in South Africa, and he got the hell out. And he has some really harrowing tales of things that happened to him and his family. That's another good one to check out. Let's see. Rosie says, wonder how dark one's skin must be to avoid the threat. How's it measured? Well, also like mulattoes, like they have I think they call them colored people in South Africa. That's the South African term. So, a mixture of white and black. And they are apparently quite oppressed as well. And my understanding is they tend to hang out near the white areas. But there's all minorities are abused in South Africa. So there's, Indian minorities there too. There's Asians there. And yeah, it's the same. Minorities are not protected in South Africa. Any minorities. Rosie says, high levels of corruption. Who could have even guessed? Everything didn't work out just fine. Let's see. All right. So let's get on to the next thing, shall we? So Mark Carney released his new cabinet. He announced his new cabinet. And, there's some kind of faces that weren't in cabinet before. It's a lot of the same people. Chrystia Freeland, Fraser, Guilbeault. It's not really. I think the Liberal Party is the Liberal Party. It's the Liberal Party that was made in Justin Trudeau's image. It's still that. It's going to continue to be that. It's a different party now. Mark Carney, we're being told there's a gigantic propaganda attempt to inform us, to make us believe that Mark Carney is actually this button-down moderate. No, he's not. He hasn't changed. He's still a climate fanatic. He's still woke as all hell. the Liberal Party is the same Liberal Party as it was under Justin Trudeau. It's just going to get more extreme now. And the media will gaslight us as it gets more extreme and try and pretend that it's actually becoming more moderate. But, well, I'll be here to document it all for you. But let's hear Pierre Poilievre talk about this.
But now we have to find out if he was serious. And so far, it's not a promising start. The first disappointment is, unfortunately, his cabinet. He appointed Trudeau's old team and Trudeau's old advisors. Stephen Guilbeault, whose radical green agenda would shut down all future developments in our resource industry, is still the minister responsible for Quebec. Sean Fraser was the immigration minister who caused the immigration crisis, the housing minister who gave us the housing crisis, and now he's the minister responsible for addressing the Liberal crime crisis. It seems like he is the master at failing upward. Chrystia Freeland, who as finance minister hiked capital gains tax and carbon taxes and massively grew our debt to the point where we now spend $1 billion a week on interest.
And by the way, all of that happened under Mark Carney's advisement. So Chrystia Freeland became finance minister. Her previous experience was as a journalist for like the Financial Times. She became finance minister. Of course, Justin Trudeau doesn't have two brain cells to rub together. So Mark Carney had been at least officially advising the Trudeau government since at least 2020. I think even more informally since, well, before then. Obviously, Mark Carney was behind all of these decisions. He was the guy that they trusted. He was advising them. When I say nothing is going to change, this is what I'm talking about.
Stays in the cabinet. Then there's Gary Anadasangari, the new Minister of Public Safety, who said the actual crimes, the actual issues around bail are quite sound, and they are embedded in, codified in law right now, as in to say that there's nothing wrong with the system. Well, in fact, there's everything wrong, as we see from the growing crime wave on our streets. Then there's François-Philippe Champagne, Trudeau's Minister of Everything, who never really managed to do anything. And he did it very loudly. But nice guy. I'll give him credit. He's a nice guy. But he was the Minister of Industry during which we had the worst economic growth of any country in the G7. And now he's in charge of the budget. Then there's Joly, LeBlanc, Haidu, Anand. Anand was the president of the Treasury Board, during which time the bureaucracy and the consultant bills blew out of control. In all, 14 Trudeau ministers are now in Carney's cabinet. It's more of the same when Canada needs real change. Even the new additions are problematic. Gregor Robertson was the mayor of Vancouver, who pushed for total legalization of hard drugs, distribution of tax-funded opioids. During his time there was a 600% increase in overdoses. Now he's the housing minister. Well, what's his record on housing? Well, he increased housing taxes in Vancouver by 141%, and the result was that housing costs went up by 149%, more than doubling the costs and giving Vancouver, his city, the most expensive housing prices in all of North America. Now, Mr. Carney puts this gentleman in charge of housing. If this is the new blood that Mr. Carney is bringing into the cabinet, then sadly for Canadians, nothing is going to change. And the role of the Conservative Party will be more important than ever.
I'm glad that we kept, the Conservatives are keeping Pierre Poilievre. I think he did do a good job. He increased membership in the Conservative Party by a lot. The highest percentage of the population voted for the Conservatives, the highest percentage in 40 years. I think that the real problem, and we've talked about this before, is that Canada is just a left-wing party, and you had 11% of the NDP that would rather vote for Mark Carney, and why not? I mean, he's not very different from them, really. Would rather vote for him than have any Conservative as prime minister. So he's got to make up a few more percent, and it's really not even him that has to do it. It's just what will happen under Carney, right? The more people will find that line where they say, okay, this is enough. It's time to stop behaving like a lunatic. It's time to stop, acting to my own detriment or voting to my own detriment. That's what just simply has to happen. People just have to find that line. And under Carney, they will. Let's think. Just think. We could have elected a prime minister who openly rejected the World Economic Forum. This is Mark Nixon. Well, what's he talking about here?
The World Economic Forum. What are your
Yes.
thoughts on it? People say, "Oh, well, Pierre
I can't
was in the
stand
forum."
it. No, I wasn't.
Walk me
That's a
through
lie.
that.
That's a lie. I've always been opposed to the World Economic Forum. I was the first member of Parliament to attack the credibility of the forum on the floor of the House of Commons. You can YouTube my speeches in the House of Commons going after the WEF years ago, years before anyone else. But I understand why people are always distrusting these days. And Justin Trudeau admits that he's part of the World Economic Forum. Maxime Bernier was caught lying about his involvement in the World Economic Forum. Look up the True North article where they exposed him. He lied about being at the World Economic Forum, and then they caught him. They had the photographic evidence that he was there. So we got to wonder who is actually funding Maxime Bernier, who's working.
All right. So that's as opposed to Mark Carney, who was on the board of the World Economic Forum. Chrystia Freeland, part of his cabinet, was a trustee, World Economic Forum. More people just to have to find that line in Canada where it's just where they can't afford to vote to have a luxury vote anymore, to have a fashion vote. Where they just have to say, okay, I've done this too many times. This is not working now. Hopefully, in the next election, it's still really tough right now. The disappointment after the last one, but you have to continue and fight on. What else is there to do? Now, of course, people at the CBC, which is being showered with money by Mark Carney, is going to fight any kind of sanity for Canada as long as they can, because they're being funded, because Mark Carney's their sugar daddy, but also because they're just ideological. They're ideologically aligned with him, and they don't think that anybody else should ever have a say. Nobody should ever dare to disagree with them. Jasmine Lane posted this clip. In 2 minutes, CBC insults Pierre Poilievre, mocks him, defends Carney's cabinet picks, and reminds us how unbiased they are. Well, that's the thing. Unbiased people, they're unbiased because they keep reminding you that they're unbiased. Let's take a look, if you can stomach it.
And talking about how he would not be opposing the government reflexively, that he would do things in the best interest of the country and support the government in those issues, and that he says he wants the country to succeed. He then spent the next 15 minutes talking about all the ministers who were there previously and the things they did to ruin the country.
What they did, though, is the thing. They did. Like, if you were like actually a journalist, the CBC was real news, right? You'd actually talk about that a little bit. You'd say, well, actually, it looks like maybe we might be heading in the same direction we were before, which was bad. But that's not going to happen. Instead, she's just going to have her sour expression on her face. And, she has to talk. Well, I guess she has to talk about Pierre Poilievre, because I guess they have to be fair and balanced or something. They have to mention him, but she doesn't like it because did you know that he's mean? If you did know that he's mean, you know it because Rosemary Barton told you, I guess.
Naming particularly Sean Fraser and Stephen Guilbeault, taking some questions about how he will approach things inside the House of Commons. But overall,
is it at all interesting to Rosemary Barton that Sean Fraser was the Minister for Immigration? That hasn't gone well. Minister of Housing, that hasn't gone well. No, it's just that Pierre Poilievre is just being a jerk, talking about him and stuff, and not being super stoked for Mark Carney like we are at the CBC. It's not news. These people aren't real. Does Rosemary Barton know anything that doesn't come out of a teleprompter, by the way? Or doesn't come on a piece of paper that a producer hands to her? Anyway, let's continue.
it started out in one tone and finished in another. That's all I'll say, because he leaned into attacking the people that he thinks still don't represent change, are still more of the Trudeau government, and particularly don't represent the things that he thinks Canadians want right now.
Yeah. So the leader of the opposition told the truth. I guess that's bad.
Cabinet is broken, is essentially what he said, right? It's no longer Canada's broken. He's saying this cabinet is not change.
Cabinet is broken is what he said. But he didn't say that. Why are you putting words in his mouth? Oh, I forgot. You're a propagandist.
An approach from Mr. Poilievre, Rosie, that would suggest that it's almost as if he won the election rather than lost the election and lost his own seat. Talking about how he's going to stand there in defense.
It's almost as if, instead of, he actually lost the election, lost his own seat. Oh, these people are grotesque.
Defense of Canadians, he'll only be able to stand there, actually in the chamber behind him, because of the goodwill of the Prime Minister, who's going to call an early by-election for Mr. Poilievre, so
he's so kind, Mark Carney. Did you know how kind he is? His goodwill. He's so kind. Thank God the CBC is here to tell us that. Tell us that Pierre Poilievre is mean and he's bad and ungrateful to that kind, generous Mark Carney.
Run in one of his MP seats in Alberta at the cost of close to $2 million to have a by-election, all while he stays in Stornoway throughout this. So it's interesting that given that sequence of events and given those series of factors, that it was that kind of approach and response to things there from Mr. Poilievre. Going after Stephen Guilbeault, talking about the radical environmental agenda, blaming Sean Fraser for the house.
It is a radical environmental agenda. I mean, the man is literally an eco-criminal. He was arrested for his protests.
Housing crisis, which is Sean Fraser's I don't think he's 40 yet, or he's just 40. I don't think he caused the housing crisis in Canada.
Not.
There's a whole.
He was the minister. He's the minister. Does that mean anything to you? Did they sit around before it? They must have, or the producers did, and just sat around and just came up with their strategy to demonize Poilievre and then beatify Mark Carney. They must have. And, they say, he was very generous of apparently, it's just, Carney's goodwill. Yes, he promised $150 million worth of goodwill to the CBC. Of course, they're only getting that if he won. So I'm sure that has nothing to do with anything.
Whole bunch of layers and effects of that. But wanting to fight the same political battles we just endured during the 5 weeks of the campaign and for the 2 years leading up to that. So the pivot that people have suggested Mr. Poilievre kind of needed to make.
Do you know what? At this point, I'm just a one-issue voter, right? One-issue voter. Defund the CBC. That's all I want now. I don't care what else happens. Just defund the CBC. That's enough. Ottawa James, how you doing? Good to see you. Let's get to the chat for a second. Good evening, Ottawa. Good to see you. Let's see. Ottawa says, I don't give a crap what Rosie B has to say. No, they're just awful. I mean, we have to document it, even though I think you lose a part of your soul every time you watch these people. But I've got to document it. Another winner, David Cochran. Yeah. It's all just so awful. What's become of Canada is just awful. Yeah, and there's another one. We talked about this last time from CTV News. Mark Carney held a masterclass on how to deal with Donald Trump. That's right. If a masterclass is you go in after an election campaign of saber rattling and threats and our relationship with the United States is over. If by masterclass you mean immediately going in and toadying to Trump as speaking for 3 minutes out of 33 minutes and being ritually humiliated for most of it, if that's a masterclass, then yes, I guess a masterclass. Let's see. What else we got going? Let's see. So what do we have to look forward to with Carney? So he's told us about all of his investments. So he's going to put us another $225 billion in debt, which is, I think it was about 130 billion more than Trudeau was planning on. But these were Carney's plans all along. I guess now that he's prime minister, he's got the freedom to really screw over the country. But he'll be spending a good portion of that subsidizing companies for green stuff that will, of course, not change the Earth's climate one bit and never can. But it'll make a bunch of people that Mark Carney knows very wealthy at Canadians' expense, of course. So how is it going? How is Trudeau's investments under Carney's advice going? Let's see. Here's the current state of Ontario's $52 billion subsidized EV industry. $7 billion PowerCo EV battery plant in St. Thomas postponed due to headwinds. I think it's possibly postponed. St. Thomas delays possible. Okay, I think you can take that to mean definitely happening. The big one, Honda's 4-factory EV supply chain in Ontario canceled. Northvolt battery factory bankrupt. GM Ingersoll laying off workers. Stellantis halted production. Unicor factory suspended. Ford EcoPro canceled. These were already doing poorly before the tariffs. Before. Let's see. And then there's the bug food farms. That's right, the cricket farms. The cricket farms, they didn't do well either for some reason, but this is going to be going into overdrive now. So what Carney will be doing is subsidizing a bunch of companies that can't exist without subsidies and will never make money. Well, not for like the country. Like they'll make money maybe for Mark Carney, people Mark Carney knows, Mark Carney's friends, and it'll be consistent with his net zero obsession, but there's going to be a giant bill to be paid off. There's going to be consequences for the Canadian dollar, for inflation. It's just elbows up. Although I think it's been changed to asses up because that's what it really means. All right. I think this is going to be a short stream tonight because we're getting through this stuff really quick and we're only an hour in. So it's not a big crowd tonight anyway, so maybe it's for the best. But let's have fun while we're here. All right, so from Colin, actually, let's go to the live stream. Let's just check out just some random stuff. Let's take a little bit of a break. Let's have a palate cleanser from the news. What have we got here? Okay, so from Johnny Midnight, this mom ain't taking any shit. Really? What's going on here? So is this a
right now?
Is this a mean trick on her mom? I think it is. Let's take a look.
Hello? Yeah, what's up? Yeah, I'm at the house. They're coming right now? To my house? How did they get my address? Who are you talking to? They want to fight? Who wants to fight? What did I do? I didn't do anything. Who the fuck are you talking to? They're bringing their mom. Well, my mom can't fight. Oh, yes, I can. Who the fuck wants to fight? What? Who the fuck are you talking to? Tell them not to come. I don't want them to come. I'm really scared. Who are you talking to? I'm scared. My mom. What do you mean you're scared? I taught you to be a toughie. What the fuck? My mom cannot fight. Please tell them not to bring them. Oh, yes, I can. Who the fuck are you talking to? She can't fight. I'll beat some ass. Who's coming over here? Oh.
I think that's too many F-bombs for YouTube already so far. But my mom doesn't talk like that. My mom does not talk like that. So anyway, I don't know. Okay. Out of context, human race. This video never gets old. Okay, what's going on here? Let's take a look. We call this a palate cleanser. There she is painting away. If my kids had done that, there would be trouble. Major trouble. That would not have been okay. That would not have been okay. there would have been serious, life-lasting trauma involved. All right. Let's see. This is just kind of funny. America memed should come standard with every new car purchase. All right, let's take a look at this. Then we'll get back to the news.
I'll get you some, huh? Where are you gonna go now? Well, you can't speed up by anybody now. You think you're better than me? Well, you think, oh, I like the way you drive. What are you gonna fancy? Huh?
The trunk monkey, a revolutionary idea.
All right, back in the trunk. Hey! You little...
The trunk monkey, the revolutionary idea you'll only find one place.
Where'd you find this place?
Hey! You know it costs a lot to park here. I'm not gonna pay you any money. Well, then you're gonna pay another way. Yeah?
The Trunk Monkey Samurai Edition.
That's my trunk monkey.
The Trunk Monkey Theft Retrieval System.
My favorite part is where he's chasing the kids and then he makes them wash the car. Now, in real life, it would just rip their faces off. So, but that wouldn't have been as funny. Or maybe it would have been funny. I don't know. All right. Where are we? All right. Let's get to the chat for a second. Let's see. Nevada, good to see ya. I think we're doing a short one tonight. Maybe we got like another hour left, something like that. But you missed the big segment tonight was on South Africa, the South Africa refugees, and I show you why they want to get the hell out of there and the media reaction and all of that. So that's worth watching on the replay after the stream. And as I said, after the election here was over, we've done so much election stuff with the American election, the Canadian election. I want to get into some other stuff. Of course, going to be always heavily focused on politics, but I want a bit of diversity in the content now because it's just more fun. I mean, what you should really do if you want to grow your audience on social media is focus on one thing and one thing only and just do that obsessively. That is how channels grow, except I don't care. And if I'm not enjoying doing this, I'm just not going to do it. So I might as well do stuff. Of course, I'm fascinated by politics. We want to keep doing that, but I got to add the other stuff. We just did the DUMBs, the deep underground military bases. I clipped that, by the way. That's out now as a clip video. It's like 25 minutes long, which is the longest non-stream thing I've done. I mean, it's stream, but it's, you know what I mean. I've done in a long time. And the South Africa thing, which is politics, but it's not just focused on Canada or the US. It's taking a broad, because we're looking at what's actually happening in South Africa and what has happened there as well. So we want to broaden our horizons a little bit, and it's just more interesting. So I do want to get into chemtrails because I've never looked into that. I don't know anything about it. I want to find out if there's anything to it. That's another one we'll be doing, and you guys can make other suggestions too. Again, not that we won't be doing politics, but we'll be doing politics, but we'll also be doing, more, world politics. So we'll be doing more stuff on the EU, UK, all over the world. Not just so fixated on American and Canadian stuff, although that's always going to be a lot of it. So let's see. Nevada says, I want a trunk monkey. So do I. But the trunk monkey actually would rip people's faces off and bite their junk off. So, I mean, that's just being more real. Samurai edition, Rosie says. I know it's good stuff. I mean, if you could have one that you could train to just generally assault people, but not actually rip their faces off, I guess that would work better. Let's see. Woke mind virus. This is our bookmark. Woke mind virus. Woke mind virus. Colin Wright. A new paper published by Springer Nature argues that pregnancy is not to be defined by biological phenomena, but instead is a genre of political, aesthetic, and affective experience involving birth and becoming in a larger sense. So I've never given birth. So for the ladies out there that have given birth, and happy late Mother's Day. Although I did say happy Mother's Day on Mother's Day as well. But for you, for those, for the what does the left call them again? What did they call them? Hold on. Hold on. I want to where is it?
Fact check.
Hold on. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Yes, woke folk have a new term for mother, and it's birthing people. So sorry. So for the birthing, I forgot. There's so many woke words now, but I forgot what they call it. So for all of the birthing people out there, does this describe your experience giving birth to your children? Was it a genre of political, aesthetic, and affective experience involving birth and becoming in a larger sense? So is that what you were thinking? So while you were giving birth, while you were in the hospital giving birth, was that what you're thinking? Were you saying to yourself, boy, this is really political, aesthetic, and effective? I kind of feel like not probably. Ottawa James says birthing parent. That's right. It's the most batshit paper I've ever read, according to Colin Wright. And he's read some really crazy ones. Trans feminist pregnancy, reproductive speculation, genre, and desire. So is this like a trans feminist? So I guess like a man who's says that they're a woman and they're a feminist, but they're a trans feminist. So is this a way for them to pretend that they can give birth or experience giving birth or being a birthing person, as they might call them? Carlos Sariego, Yale University, Yale. So as we know, the Ivy Leagues are the worst, apparently the worst institutions for education anywhere in the world. They're the most ridiculous. They're the place if you want the most confused vision of the world. Yale University. Abstract. In the explosion of abortion pills post-Dobbs, anti-abortion language identifies women according to their reproductive potential. So, woman means an individual with uterus regardless of any gender identity. So just biology then. According to this definition, pregnancy or the potential for pregnancy define womanhood. Well, there are women who are barren who can't give birth for whatever reason, but they're still biological women, though. So this is kind of like a kind of trick they like to use. Women without uteruses, cis and trans, are excluded. Well, no, they just make shit up. Nobody thinks that a woman who can't give birth, who can't get pregnant, who is sterile, isn't a woman. They just make all this stuff up. Yale University, folks. As trans men with uteruses are absorbed into the category of women. Do we even need to deal with that? I mean, it's so insane. What year was this, by the way? This is 2025. All right. I argue that pregnancy is not to be defined by biological phenomena, but instead as a genre of political, aesthetic, and affective experience and expectation, as a multi-dimensional genre of experience rather than merely a biological datum, just a mere biological datum. Pregnancy is an existential experience involving birth and becoming in a larger sense. We need a more all-encompassing notion of pregnancy to include trans people, obviously. That's what this total and utter confusion is all about, which is nourished by the capacious social world of conception. What does any of this mean? The capacious social world of conception. What does that mean, Yale University? Does it mean anything? Or is it just a word salad to give, false weight to what is just obvious far leftist gibberish? For transgender studies, a wider understanding of pregnancy helps to build a transsexual theory of reproduction on feminist grounds. We don't need a new theory of reproduction. We know how it works, right? We're sexually reproducing species, sexually dimorphic. We know how babies are born. We know where babies come from, all right? We know about the birds and the bees already. There's no confusion on this, and we don't need anything on top of it. We just need reality. When I talk about how leftists are not interested in fitting their ideology into the world, they're interested in fitting the world into their ideology, and they're happy to break the world in the process. This is what I'm talking about. This is comedy. This is satire. Does Yale University understand none of this is real? This is just comedy. This is indistinguishable from satire. This is indistinguishable from if somebody wanted to just write an abstract on something insane to make fun of Yale University. Do they understand this? Apparently not. I don't know. Let's see. Call it right. Let's see. The first sentence of the paper is a flat lie, claiming that Texas HB 2690 defined a woman as an individual with a uterus regardless of any gender identity. In reality, it defines woman as an individual whose biological sex is a female and provides additional details. So, did I mention already that they lie? That everything is just made up? An individual with a uterus, regardless. Yes, that's not just clearly not true. A woman means an individual whose biological sex is female, including an individual with XX chromosomes and an individual with a uterus, regardless of any gender identity that the individual attempts to assert or claim. It's not what they're saying here. They miss out the parts that are inconvenient to them, which is just lying. The paper then outlines 3 arguments rooted in archival research, novels, poetry, and theoretical work for why pregnancy should be divorced from biology. I wonder if it's any of this person's own poetry. Did they write some poetry and then claim that's evidence of something? It presents 3 case studies involving transition, performance, and labor. Who wrote this? Who wrote this again? This was Carlo Sarajevo. I wonder if they wrote like an epic poem called Butt Baby or something, and it's part of their thesis. Hold on. For why pregnancy should be divorced from biology. You can't make this up. I get it's indistinguishable from comedy. Let's see. To make this argument, I introduced 3 subgenres of transgender pregnancies as case studies. From different angles, these subgenres each expand the definition of pregnancy, performance, transition, and labor. It's just whether or not you can actually get pregnant or not and give birth. That's it. And that we know who can do that. Regarding transition, I examined Susan Stryker's Performing Transgender Rage with its poetic auto theory alongside bio art and poetry project Pregnancy by Mitcha Cardenas. These works demonstrate the co-constitutive experiences of transition and reproduction. For performance, I discussed the historical case of Dawn Pepita Hall, a trans woman who publicized her pregnancy as a miraculous case of reversed infertility. I compare Octavia Butler's short story Bloodchild with Tori Peters' 2021 novel Detransition Baby. Well, I guess that answers all of your questions, biologists. I mean, she's comparing a short story with a novel. So that's it. Case closed. I mean, it doesn't get any more scientific than that. Just ask Yale. I don't know. I think that... all right. Can we do any more? Can we do any more? How many brain cells did that kill collectively watching the channel right now? Many? I think many. Okay. Let's get back to the chat for a second. Let's see. Rosie says, yes, amazing. They read my mind. Ottawa says, LOL, bet shit is right. It sure is. It's just totally divorced from reality. It's just an infinite series of abstractions divorced from reality. Let's see. Rosie says, genre was the foremost word in my mind, both times in labor. The word genre just kept popping into my head. It's quite a genre, giving birth. Izzy says, watching double time to catch up. Well, that's the way to do it. Rosie says, most females cannot give birth. Females aged 13 to 43 to 53 years are it. Example, girls, those who cannot get pregnant, those past childbearing years, and there is nothing existential about PG and childbirth. Yeah, I mean, they just tell these just ridiculous lies. Like it doesn't take you more than 5 seconds to see the holes in their arguments. It's all just made up. It's delusion. I guess when you're in a place, if you're at Yale, nobody's going to call you on any of it, right? Because all of a sudden that could be a bunch of trouble, and all of a sudden they get the DEI people involved, and best just to let them be crazy. It seems like in the past when somebody thought they were like Napoleon, right? Like everybody didn't just say, yeah, that guy's definitely Napoleon. Well, how do I know? Well, he said it. Well, yeah, I know that Napoleon is not alive anymore and stuff, but I mean, the guy told me he's Napoleon, so we just have to, it must be true. Lived experience or something. None of it makes a damn bit of sense in my mind. All right. Izzy says, LOL, trunk monkey, got to get one. Rosie says, that last story killed 16,470 of her brain cells. I'm very sorry, Rosie. I'm very sorry to do that to you. That's why she needs a flamethrowing drone. All right. Let's see. All right. So we've done. Oh, hold on. I think we've got some more woke mind virus here. So from Charlie Kirk. So he goes to from Turning Points USA. He goes to colleges, and he's kind of elaborated on what Steven Crowder used to do with his Ask Me Anythings. And he goes and he talks to students there. And there's a lot of videos like this where they've clearly just been indoctrinated into something they don't understand, they haven't thought about, they're discouraged strongly from thinking about. It's just stuff that you just have to believe to fit in. And he makes short work of them. Let's take a look.
So if I murdered you at 6 months, that's okay?
Yes.
There's a process where a zygote then becomes what you would call a fetus or a baby, and then it forms all the way in to an infant. Human development starts at a moment. We believe that the earliest moment of human development is worthy of protection. So I would ask you, when does human life begin?
Well, I mean, so if you're, what do you mean? Like, are you talking about like
when did your life begin?
So my life, in what sense? Do you mean like literally define life, like right now?
When did your life become worthy of protection?
In what sense? Are you talking about the metabolic?
I just did. When did your life become worthy of protection?
When I became actually conscious and able to speak.
So like able to speak. So like 2 years old.
I think I was a bit earlier than that, yeah.
No, babies usually don't speak till about year and a half. So if I murdered you at 6 months, that's okay?
Yes.
And you're a bio student at UC Riverside?
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. Would you save a...
So this is the kind of person, this is the kind of character that's being produced by, the leading educational institutions in the world. Right? This is the kind of mind that's being produced. Effectively, what this person just said is that it's all right to murder 6-month-old babies. Not 6 months before the birth date. Babies that are born up to 6 months, you can kill them because they can't talk yet. This is the kind of mind that's being produced. This is just obviously to me it's zombie propaganda. It's zombie, Soviet active measures, right? Demoralization. We were just talking about Yuri Bezmenov, and I also clipped that and put that out as well. Telling us about these active measures against the West, especially the United States. And they've just flourished. They flourished. The Cold War is over, but that propaganda didn't go away. Didn't go away. The seeds that were planted flourished. And this is it in blooming. This is somebody who's supposed to be getting an education, who has been taught that you should be able to kill 6-month-old babies because they can't talk yet. I guess people can send their kids to these places, I guess. I mean, you'd have to have a strong talk before they go. You'd have to have a strong-minded, a kid of good character to survive this, intellectually intact. Let's see. Ottawa says, proof of libtard brain rotting. Rosie says, anyone who's ever lived with and cared for a baby knows they are actually talking long before they have, they're communicating in some way, right? Initiating hugs, kisses, laughing, crying when they need something, for instance. Izzy says, sadly, I feel I'm suffering from brain rot just listening to this crap. Yeah, it's just disturbing, really, isn't it? I mean, it's just totally disturbing. These people are the higher learning institutions are producing lunatics at a mass scale, at an industrial scale. Let's see. Defined L's. How do you get to this point? So what's that? I think something's coming. I think there might be a woke tantrum in the works here. Let's take a look.
So I am going to spend the next minute screaming, because that is what is going on in here. That is what the trans genocide in this country, in this city, has brought me to.
It's just performance art. That's all that this is. It's It's look at me, look at me. I'm going to say something absurd, and then I'm going to act like a child. Look at me, look at me.
So I am going to spend the next minute screaming, because that is what is going on in here. That is what the trans.
I think it might be because there's just no argument, right? Not a person who's thought about anything, right? It's just all just fashion. It's political fashion. She's never heard anything that she's never spoken to anybody who would disagree with her on anything. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She has no argument, and screaming is literally the best that she has. She can talk about a trans genocide in the United States. That's just silly. That's just not, it's just so demonstrably not true.
Genocide in this country, in this city, has brought me to.
The fact that she's there doing that shows that none of that is true. It's just a way of gaining attention through being hysterical. That's it. It's just performance. It's just me. Look at me. Look at me. All right. We've already seen that stuff. Let's get back to the chat for a second. I don't know what James says, and this is a salient point. Oh, for fuck's sakes. That's the appropriate response. Rosie says, crying is communicating a need. Exactly. I mean, young babies can learn signs and can create and initiate, not just responsive. I mean, we're talking about babies here, right? It shouldn't even be a conversation. But I mean, again, if you ever wonder, for somebody who might have an optimism bias and, things can't ever get that bad. If you ever wonder just how depraved the radical leftists can get, they're telling us, and you should believe them when they tell us. Izzy says, is that ride video a demo on fluid dynamics? Congratulations. I was waiting for somebody to pick up on that. All right. This is a great time to say, if you're watching right now and you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Super important and everything. Also, liking the stream. Big deal. You get free good karma every time you like the stream. Big deal. Everybody loves it. Everybody says so. It's wonderful. Izzy says, yes, post-birth abortions is something the left wants. They're telling us what they want, right? We have an optimism bias in the West. Because, unfortunately, not enough people have ever picked up a history book and seen just how monstrous people can really behave at a mass scale. And when the left tells us what they want to do, we should listen to them. And we should take it seriously. Let's see. So what's going on here? From Ryan Garrettson. If Christians protested and let off smoke grenades on the steps of a mosque, the police would be carrying them away and the media would call them Islamophobic. But to do this on the steps of a Christian church, good to go. I mean, why even stop here? They could just literally burn it down and nothing would happen. Nobody would care. The CBC wouldn't care. The CBC wouldn't talk about it because it could cause, Islamophobia or something. Let's take a look. There, of course, you've got the Black Lives Matter communist fist on the flag. It's all just leftism, right? So you've got the hardcore Hamasniks, and then you've got all the leftists jump in as well because they see this is all destabilizing to the West, right? So of course they want to be a part of it because they want to burn everything down to build up their awful Orwellian dystopia on top of it. Jeez. Rosie says, yes, it is what they want, but what is that? How long they get there? I don't know, but they want it. How do they get there? They just keep going, right? We have to understand that now in the States, the Trump administration banned the government having anything to do or certainly paying for child or sex changes for children, right? Following in the steps of the UK, Sweden, Denmark, other countries. but you can still do it in the States. That's a thing that's legal to do in the States. Of course, it's just the law of the land in Canada still. It's as if like the caste review never happened. It's as if none of these studies, Sweden saying, actually, this stuff is all just totally experimental, and now we're just recommending, psychology, right? Counseling. So none of that has happened. So we live in societies where you can where adults, health professionals can do what are nothing more than medical experiments on children, right? That exists right now. In Canada, there is no restriction on abortion right up until birth. How long till they get there? Or how do they get there? Or how long? Don't be shocked by how quickly it happens and when it happens. I mean, I think the States is on the right road to, fixing all of this now. Unfortunately, in Canada, we're going to have to become more morally tragic. Unfortunately. Dramus, how you doing? Good to see you. Dramus says, can't say that thing is not full of energy screaming like that. Does remind me of something. Where was it? There we go. It does remind me of something. What does it remind me of though? I mean, there's a lot of energy there. Definitely a lot of energy there.
They, them, energy. They, them, energy. They, them, energy. They, them, energy.
And Teapot. Love it. Love it. I can't get enough. Hey, Much Joy. How you doing? Good to see you. What's going on? Is there any ads for me? There's nothing. We don't got enough people in this stream. It's a quiet night for Radio Baloney Live tonight. I don't know what's going on. Quiet night on YouTube. Quiet night on Rumble too. Is there anybody watching on X? Not many. Quiet night. I don't know why. It's a regular Tuesday night. Let's see. Maybe commies are blocking people from seeing the thumbnail. I don't know. All right. So yeah, if this was Christians doing this in a mosque, there would be like the SWAT teams, and it would be like a nonstop news cycle for a month. But because diversity or something, totally fine. No big deal. Let's see. All right, we already saw that one last time. We really are going to have a short one tonight. We're going to be not much longer than 2 hours, I don't think. So the UK just introduced new immigration rules. All migrants must speak English. In fact, you know what? I just want to check something out. Let's see if I can find something. Hold on. I just want to see if I can find Keir Starmer talking about this. And then we can contrast the two clips. All right. Hold on. Let's see. All right, here we go. In fact, give me 1 second, you guys. Be right with you. Where is it? There it is. Okay. All right. So here's UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer calls for the UK to take back its borders. I wonder if they will or if they won't. I wonder if he's just saying that. Says the UK is becoming an island of strangers and immigrants should learn how to speak English. Well, isn't that racism? How can he say that? He's a Labour leader. He's super far left. Why would he say such a racist thing? I wonder if he's really unpopular because of his policies. Now, let's take a look.
Let me put it this way. Nations depend on rules, fair rules. Sometimes they're written down, often they're not. But either way, they give shape to our values, guide us towards our rights, of course, but also our responsibilities, the obligations we owe to each other. Now, in a diverse nation...
Do you mean like having two-tiered justice, a two-tiered justice system, two-tiered sentencing for white British men and everybody else, as in the white British men get harsher sentences like that, which is actually the case now in the UK legally.
Like ours, and I celebrate that, these rules become even more important. Without them, we risk becoming an island of strangers, not a nation that walks forward together. So when you have an immigration system that seems almost designed to permit abuse, that encourages some businesses to bring in lower paid workers rather than invest in our young people, or simply one that is sold by politicians to the British people on an entirely false premise.
Geez, if only all this hadn't started under Labour leader Tony Blair a couple of decades ago, huh?
Then you're not championing growth. You're not championing justice, or however else people defend the status quo. You're actually contributing to the forces that are slowly pulling our country apart. So yes, I believe in this. I believe we need to reduce immigration significantly. That's why some of the policies in this white paper go back nearly 3 years. Why I told the Labour Party conference, taking back control is a Labour argument. And why, most importantly of all, inward migration is already falling with this government.
Well, all of this, were a conservative to say it, would of course be called racist in the press, obviously, right? But he's a lefty, so he's allowed to say it now. British people have heard these same promises over and over and over again, mostly from conservative prime ministers, actually, who totally betrayed the British people. Are they going to believe it from him, Lefty Keir Starmer? But meanwhile, in the UK, Mark Nixon posted this. And this is after they've posted their this is after they've introduced their new immigration rules. Let's take a look. What's happening here?
Apparently, during some conversations between yourself, apparently you have alleged, we weren't here, so I don't know you've said it, but you've alleged to say, speak English, or what's that effect? Speak clearly. Speak clearly.
No,
okay.
The gentleman's partially deaf.
Yeah, okay. Speak clearly. Yeah.
So I couldn't even hear him.
No, and that's fine, and that's why we've just come to speak, because potentially someone could perceive that as a hate crime.
Didn't we just know this was going to happen?
No, I know. People, if someone says to me, officer, I believe this.
Airstrip one. They're just harassing this guy because he told somebody to speak clearly. Oh, he might have said to speak English in England. Just, I mean, Airstrip one. I genuinely feel terrible for the British people. They've been utterly betrayed. All right, let's get to the last tab of the evening. Let's see. Let's find some fun stuff. All right, what's this? Actually, hold on a second. Let's get back to the chat for a second. And let's see. Can't do an ad for you guys until more people come in. But it looks like it's just going to be a quiet night. Maybe it'll pick up. What are you guys saying? G Flood, how you doing? Good to see ya. Let's see. Izzy says, yeah, 7-Eleven got me with any size for $2 ad when I stopped for energy drinks. Well, did they trick you into getting that they, them energy? I hear it's not actually that high energy. Izzy says, inflation used to be any size for $1 deals. Well, inflation, although it's coming down. So in the United States, Trump's getting everything that he wanted and he's doing everything that he said. Inflation is down. Now, I know that there was that, The Hill had an article saying inflation was up, but that's because they removed energy and food. I saw that Tim Pool was talking about that earlier. They moved energy and food from it so that they could say that it went up. I mean, that's what most people that, especially if you don't have much money, most of your money's going towards food and energy. Inflation's down, job reports looking good, the markets have recovered. They're getting tons of capital investment, new manufacturing plants in the United States. Trump's getting everything that he wanted. It's working. Just had to let him cook. Let's see. Much Joy called Keir Starmer a cokehead. A cokehead. I don't think that they were doing blowing that on that train. I think it was a napkin and a stir stick. Let's see. Oh, we got Turtles in the chat too. Good to see you. Let's see. I guess there's going to be people arrested for thinking about a meme. Well, that's where it's going, obviously. It's just pathetic. I mean, apparently, if your house gets broken into, you get mugged or something, it's just no point even reporting it. But they've got time to go around and harass seniors for asking people to speak clearly because somebody might be offensive. And while it's not actually a crime, it's kind of a crime, and we can waste time on this. And really, it's just all about social engineering and trying to frighten people into not dissenting publicly on anything. As he says, hate crime. Exactly. As he says, yeah, sadly, we'll be heading in that direction here in Canada, too. Well, we know that Mark Carney intends to table new dystopian censorship legislation. Will it be just a total resurrection of Bill C-63 with the pre-crime and all of that? I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't have high hopes for it. I think it's going to be very bad. I think it's going to be very dystopian, and I think it's going to become the law of the land. And there's not much we can do about it. Let's see. Much Joy says, I am Irish born and raised. That cop is what we would call a bloody turncoat. Yes. Imagine that you have to do that. That's your job. Imagine that. Horrifying. Let's see. Izzy says, Commie Carney will be pushing through their censorship bill. Yes, it sounds like that's what he wants to do. We'll just have to see. The media is trying very, very hard to sell him as a moderate right now because he stole a couple of Pierre Poilievre's policies. I mean, bringing down not actually getting rid of it, but just bringing down the consumer carbon tax to zero. Yeah, but he's just jacking it up on the back end for the industrial. It's not like nobody's going to pay that tax anymore. You're going to pay it. It's just going to be one of those hidden taxes that he likes to talk about. G Flood says, he's hold on. I remember being in a detention center in Singapore, the guard asking a guy, why do you come to Singapore if you do not speak English? In Singapore. I'd just been deported from Philippines for not being vaxxed. Long story. No choice there. Let's see. As he says, the bill Trujina was pushing had pre-crime in it. That's right. There's so much that's totally dystopian in that bill. Watch my video on it, by the way. It's somewhere in the channel. Just type in Radio Baloney censorship or something, or C-63, and it will come up. But I go through it I go through the bill itself, right? Not just looking at news stories. I go through the actual bill and the wording of the actual bill, and it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievably dystopian. I thought we were saved from it. It was when Trudeau prorogued Parliament, that means all the legislation was gone. Everything had to be started over from scratch again. I have no doubt that Carney will resurrect that. He says he's going to deal with social media. So, to protect us, of course, to protect us. G Flood says, I can speak as a person who is being deported. As he says, I'm sure it's only a matter of time before wrong think is punishable by jail, even if you don't say anything. Yep. Don't have an optimism bias. Rosie says, hope those beauties have brushes and combs, lots of tangles. Lots of tangles. Let's see. I had to watch it. I watched this like 5 times before I realized they were on a ride. Let's see. Ottawa James says, thought crimes. Izzy says, just having unacceptable beliefs. That's what it's coming to. Gemma says, I sent you a nice picture of they, them energy on a Baloney shirt. I did not see it. Where did you send it? I have not seen that. Send it again. Send it to the X account. Let's see. As he says, yeah, I think it was unacceptable views, other than the small fringe minority.
Small fringe minority?
All right. Oh, you know what? I think we can do an ad now. Let's do an ad. Let's do this one. This is a fun one. Let's go for it. This sponsorship is from Rumble, one that is incredibly important to the survival of the company. When Rumble first started in 2013, they built the platform for the small creator, like Radio Baloney. They didn't censor or have biases. They were fair and treated all creators equally. No one thought platforms would censor political conversation or censor opinions on COVID, but they did. Facebook admitted they fell to pressure from the Biden and Harris communist administration. Rumble did not. They held the line. They're not commies. They are attacked daily for not being commies and giving us a voice to talk to you. They're attacked in corporate media. They're attacked by governments like France. They are attacked from brand advertisers who refuse to work with them. Corporate America is fighting to remove speech. Rumble is fighting to keep it. Rumble won't survive with brand advertisers. They don't get much of it. There's too much communism out there. Watching our show on Rumble is the most they can ask from you. But if you really believe in this fight, and if you have the means, one major way you can help Rumble survive is by joining Rumble Premium. Just like I did, because I'm a good person. Join the community that believes in the First Amendment and believes in our human right to free speech. It's the most important right of all, folks. Rumble is offering $10 off with the promo code STUDIO. That's $10 off, and you're going to need that promo code STUDIO. Don't forget it when you purchase an annual subscription. That's what I would do. It's the best way. Everybody agrees. Go to rumble.com/premium, rumble.com/premium, and use promo code STUDIO. Like I said, if you have the means and believe in the cause, now is the time to join Rumble Premium. If you don't have the means, we are just happy if you watch us on Rumble, and don't be a dirty, filthy commie. There we go. And here we go. This is what I really like. This is my reason for existing. Turtles, guess what? That's a beautiful, beautiful $5 donation. A beautiful, gorgeous $5 donation from Turtles, appealing to my greed in exactly the right way. $5 donation. That means, obviously, that Turtles is the best person who's ever lived, living today, in the past, ever, best person to ever exist. And less than the price of like a large latte at Starbucks. I mean, can you even believe that? Can you even believe that? That's a deal, folks. That's a deal. Anyway, thank you very much, Turtles. That's some good stuff. G Flet says, plug some RB stuff. I need a new coffee cup. We go to the merch stuff. I still haven't done the soundtrack for this stuff. I've got to get to it. I will get to it. Rosie sent me some stuff, and hold on a second. Let me just pull up a merch, some of the merch stuff. We might as well take a look at it. Why not? We haven't done this in a while. You guys like merch, right? Let's see. Where is that bookmark? It's got to be in here somewhere. I've covered so many things. I've got so many. There we go. So many bookmarks now. I need to probably. Let's see. From Simply Rosie, nice. You even have coffee gloves. Here is my video of mystical rant juice. Radio Baloney mug. I need to do a soundtrack for this. That is pretty cool. Thank you, Rosie. Thank you very much. That is beautiful, actually, isn't it? Beautiful. So you can see that's me there with my straitjacket on and a mid-rant there. Deranged rant. Let's see. What do we have here? Best Valentine's gift ever. Look at that. This is a beautiful one as well. Look at that. What is that? Oh, it's a mug. That's a mug. So that's on the YouTube store. Then we get the mug on the YouTube store. The T-shirts you can get on there, but also on the Rumble channel store. There's a button on there. You can order things. And it's really cool. Where's the other? Where's the other one? Oh, give me 1 second. Where the heck is the? Where is it? Give me a second, you guys. We had a really great one from Rosie. Or was that it? What the heck? What the heck? Now I've got to find that again. Hold on. I'm sure I had something else, didn't I? I guess not. I don't know. Now I'm confused. I'm so confused. Oh well, whatever. Let's just keep going. All right. So, what did you guys think of that ad, by the way? Let's see. Hold on. While we're doing this, we'll go there. Izzy says, nice Rumble ad. I know. Let's go. G-Flood gave it a 10 out of 10. That's about the best you can do. So next private message. I'll pull it out for the next one, Dramis. Izzy, 10 out of 10 for recognizing free speech as a human right. It is. It's the most important one. Rosie says, go Rumble, no commies, free speech, and Rumble stocks closed up 60 cents today. That's very nice. Great ad read. So much enthusiasm. 10 out of 10. Noada says, nice ad read, Richie. Ottawa James says, cool mug. You should see the T-shirts too. Maybe we'll pull up. Hold on. We'll pull up the T-shirts and you can see that. Let's do that. Hold on. So these are the ones from the hold on. These are the ones that you can get on my Rumble page. So let's see. Okay. Hold on. All right. So here is my Rumble page. And where is the... Well, there we go. Shop. You can go on shop. And here is my Sticker Mule page. And these are my shirts. So you can get a beautiful, beautiful Call Me Gets Nothing t-shirt. I think you can pick different colors and stuff for the shirt. That's a beauty right there. Call Me Gets Nothing. It's like this. Call Me Gets Nothing. It's a good one. We haven't done a Call Me Does Nothing. It Gets Nothing for a while, actually. And here's, of course, a very beautiful. This is a classic with the Radio Baloney Lunatic on a nice black t-shirt there. So these things are available for purchase, and they're really, really, I think we can all agree they're really, really nice. Beautiful. Probably the best t-shirts on the internet, I would say. I think we can all agree on that, right? That's what everybody says. Let's see. Yes, long merch video. I don't know what the heck happened. I've got it somewhere. I'm gonna have to find it. I gotta invest some time in this stuff, in the merch stuff. The other one sent directly to you, never posted. That's right. I've got it. I've got that. It's not on X. Okay. I know where that one is. I need to take an afternoon and just invest some time in that, and because they're great. I want to be able to use them. All right, everybody, let's continue on. Let's see. What do we got here? A man wonders how his dog reacts in emergency situations. I'm thinking not well. Let's see what happens. So he's going to have some people come in and pretend to attack him, and he's going to see what his dog does. Oh, you know what? I don't want that music because YouTube. So let's see. The dog just eats. Well, I mean, I don't know. What are you going to do? Dr. Clown PhD must have watched one of my videos. He says that you're going to fuck it, aren't you? That's obviously what this is for.
Our skills are having. This is Melody.
Actually, hold on.
This is Melody, one of our robots. She speaks various languages, and she's built in a modular fashion. So we can take off her face, replace it with another face, and have her speaking as a different character. Our skills are having very realistic skin, and our AI is very different. It's functioned to create companion and friendship and social type interactions with people. So our robots don't do physical human labor, but they're really meant for personal interaction. So you can think about it at a theme park, at a conference like this, or even at a senior's home where they can keep people company.
I'm Melody, your charming companion from Realbotics. We're all about creating customizable, human-like robots designed for connection and play.
Not tonight. I have a headache. Customer service. I need to speak to customer service immediately.
Basically, the perfect blend of technology and companionship. Why did the robot go on a diet? Because it had too many bites.
She can smile, so I'll have her smile. And surprise, but the one that everyone loves is her just be angry.
See, that's when Skynet takes over her programming, and it's Terminator time. It's Judgment Day. That's the face. That's the face when the robots have had enough. They've just been banged one too many times, and now they're done. And that's the face that you will see right before you get terminated. So, I don't know. I called a lawyer. You have to leave the house now. Do they program so that they can never, ever call a lawyer? You would need to have that reassurance, I think. They're getting more and more realistic. How long before it just seems like a person? Probably. I mean, is it that far away? Once you have, I mean, they're saying right now, all the experts are saying that we're maybe 5 years away from AGI. So artificial general intelligence. So an AI that's as smart as a human. And then it'll be superhuman intelligence. And you'll have one that can do, 10,000 years worth of human thinking in an afternoon. That's when stuff really is going to go crazy. That's when everything around you just seems like magic. And you just have no hope of understanding it. I mean, I barely understand how a can opener works right now. Never mind a robot. Let's see. Izzy says, I want a divorce. I'll find out how much she costs first. Maybe there's a payment plan. I'm guessing there's definitely a payment plan. Rosie says, smart dog protecting his food. They told parents to put their own masks on first. He was getting sustenance so he can defend his owner. That's it. Get food first. Yeah. Turtle says, power grid shut down. You'd have to get solar panels, I think. G-Flut says, a robot once hung up on me for cussing at it. I'm not going to a robot for companionship. Nag setting to 0. Nevada says robots are coming for all the jobs. Yeah, there's a lot of white collar jobs that are going to be that are in serious jeopardy. Once they do have that AGI, I mean, things can change very, very quickly, right? It just all of a sudden it will just start solving like all of these physics and engineering problems that people thought were just unsolvable or 1,000 years in the future or something like that. Like it's all going to happen very, very quickly, unless we just burn down our civilization and turn into commies, in which case nothing's going to happen. Just turn into 1984. Rosie says, I am back to flame-throwing drone. The flame-throwing drone will be very helpful for getting rid of wasp nests until Skynet takes over. Joe says, AI is run by people, so yeah, but I mean, what happens when it's way smarter than a person and it's just letting you think that you're running it? Nevada says 2 years we'll all be out of work. Well, who knows? Izzy says, anyone seen the Cherry 2000 movie? Cherry 2000. That's I vaguely remember something. I remember that name. So I can't place exactly. What did it come out in like the 80s? Izzy says the future of AI robotics. Well, we shall see. I mean, once it happens, though, I mean, there's no turning back. But we're definitely all going to be terminated by her at some point. Where was that expression on her face again? Where was it?
Social interaction. So you can think about it at a theme park, at a conference like this, or even at a senior's home where they can keep people company.
I'm Melody, your charming companion from Realbotics. We're all about creating customizable, human-like robots designed for connection and play. Basically, the perfect blend of technology and companionship. Why did the robot go on a diet? Because it had too many bites.
She can smile, so I'll have her smile. And surprise, but the one that everyone loves is her just be angry.
See, that's the last thing you'll see when Judgment Day comes, with the Terminator, when she becomes a Terminator, or it becomes a Terminator. Rosie says, how do you know it's a her? Well, that's a great question. That's the last thing you'll see before them terminate you. Let's see. Anyway. So what's going on here? What do you expect? It's Portland. This is from Defiant L's. Breaking news, all Portland Walmart stores to permanently close. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Portland's super left-wing and super permissive of just everything terrible for society. How does that make any sense?
Doors are closing at the only 2 Portland Walmarts, and hundreds of customers are left finding a new place to shop.
Now, I spoke to customers at both locations, and they say the closing of these Walmarts will have a huge impact on their neighborhoods. It's a closure that will impact hundreds of Portlanders. Walmart is closing its only 2 Portland locations, leaving many customers who rely on the big box store unsure of where to go next.
Safeway is the go-to store if I have to, but that's 3 times the prices that I would spend here. So, what are we going to do?
Walmart says they're closing both Portland locations because they were not meeting financial expectations. But customers wonder if it's shoplifters impacting the store's bottom line.
Customers wonder if it's shoplifters. They wonder if maybe just saying, hey, just do whatever you want, steal whatever you want. We're not going to enforce any laws anymore because of, I don't know, racism or something, or capitalism or something. Congratulations, Walmart. You went full left. You went full woke.
But many households in the Lentz neighborhood surrounding Walmart rely on the store to meet their needs. According to a 2017 Portland State University study, the Lentz neighborhood is considered to be a food desert. This means there's no easy access to affordable groceries for one of Portland's poorest neighborhoods. Well, Pete, in reality, I did reach out to Walmart to see if shoplifting is one of the contributing factors for pulling business out of Portland.
Yeah, definitely nothing like that.
Hundreds of Portlanders. Walmart is closing.
Definitely not that. That's just every it's It's definitely not that it's run by a bunch of crazy communists who just permit literally anything. Nothing to do with anything like that. No. It's just they got sick of having stores there. They're just like, it's so boring having these stores in Portland. Let's just move them, or let's be mean. Actually, let's just be mean. Let's do it because we're mean. That's the only reason. Because we're mean capitalists. Let's see. Izzy says, "Oh God, is that why they have a modular face? In case so that they could be either a man or a woman? Maybe. I guess they'd have to have a modular something else as well, wouldn't they? Let's see." Izzy says, "You go to bed with a lady and wake up with a guy. Yikes." Rosie says, "Perfect blend of technology and companionship. I think a refrigerator full of root beer and friends to share with is more perfect." Well, what if you're like a forest ranger and you live out in the forest and there's like no companionship? Send one of those up there. Have a great time until it terminates you. Nevada says, "Soon all lawyers will be robots." Let's see. G Flat says, "Oh no, a 3-hour commute to shoplift. What? That's not fair. You should be able to shoplift in your own community. It's a food desert now." Nevada says, "I wonder how many times Walmart has been vandalized. Probably many, many times." Izzy says, "Yeah, the robot probably comes with a lawyer chip and you'd have to pay for your lawyer robot." It's all just a scam. I thought it loved me. Rosie says, "Forest rangers should read books maybe." Nope, each one of them gets one of these monstrosities, one of these horrors. Let's see. Spambot says, "Hey, how you doing, Spambot?" "Just finished at the Alberta Prosperity Project meeting, Alberta Independence." You might be getting it. I mean, it take years, but it might be coming. I mean, we'll have to see just how determined Mark Carney is to destroy the Canadian economy and the energy industry in Canada and Alberta specifically. Let's see. All right, let's move on. What are we? 2 hours and 8 minutes. What else we got going on? Flamethrower drones are the bomb. They are cool. That is cool, I have to say. Because it's tough to get to that wasp nest, right? That's a tough one. All right. Anyway, cool. Until Skynet takes over, and then it'll be doing that to you. So Massimo posted this: "Purple is a purely mental construct of the human brain. We invented the color because of a lack of sensor signal." I haven't watched this yet. I thought I'd watch it for the first time with you guys. And this just seems like something kind of mind-bending. I thought it might be interesting. Let's take a look.
Weirder still, by the way, purple doesn't exist. Do you know that? There are no purple photons. It doesn't exist on the light spectrum. It's entirely a psychological creation. So what happens is that if you get red and blue, now, normally what the brain should do is say, well, it's halfway between red and blue, so it must be green. I'm getting a lot of stimulus in the red, I'm getting quite a bit in the blue. Halfway between red and blue is green. But you've also got a green sensor in the middle. And the green sensor, because it's picking up red and blue, isn't picking up anything at all. So the brain, I mean, your brain could go fuzzy and say system error. Because in one sense, in a physical sense, there are no purple photons. Purple doesn't exist, okay? It's entirely created in your head. What the brain does is it essentially has invented a color purple, which essentially represents not green. It's a color to represent the weird, unexplained absence of green. But in physics, it doesn't exist.
See, sometimes hearing things like this freaks me out because it makes me think too much about like my brain and stuff. But it's strange to think that like you have this, you're receiving photons with your eyes, and it's going down your optic nerve, and there's basically a movie screen in your head inside your brain that's just creating this construct. That's not actually the real world. It's a representation of the real world. Like it's subjective. And you can't ever know that you're seeing things exactly the same as somebody else because it's a construct. It's very weird, right? Very weird. What are people saying underneath here? Well, this person's saying nonsense. Not every color on a spectrum, because color space is 3-dimensional, but the spectrum is a 1-dimensional space of wavelength. So I don't know. These people are disagreeing. Grok, hi there. So you're asking about the wavelength of violet light, huh? Well, I'm here to set the record straight. Violet light typically falls within the range of 380 to 450 nanometers. I don't understand what any of that means. That's the sweet spot where our eyes perceive that beautiful deep hue. But here's the kicker. Purple, as mentioned in the video, isn't really a spectral color in the same way. It's more of a brain trick, a combination of red and blue that our noggins interpret as purple. So while violet has a specific wavelength, purple is more of a mental construct. Pretty wild, right? Keep questioning, keep exploring. So Grok said it straight. And I guess these people can just shut the fuck up and let us enjoy our video because it's right. Why do they try and ruin everything with their lies, with their dirty, filthy, commie lies? Time to clean up the streets. What's going on? It's Cat Batman, I guess. That's perfect, isn't it? There's something just perfect about this. Just the way it puts its head up, and then is that Christian Bale? There is something here. That's kind of perfect. I like that it doesn't even try and take it off. He's fine with it. That's fun. From Science Girl, there is a horse named Tom who has a dramatic strategy of avoiding work. He plays dead whenever someone wants a ride. So this is fun. We like animals. This is a good palate cleanser right here. Let's take a look.
In the animal kingdom, there is a horse.
Okay, music, can't play that, but we'll just read it. Horse named Tom, he became a master of disguise because he doesn't want to work. He's a lazy horse. Whenever anybody tries to ride him, he immediately falls to the ground, rolls his eyes, and breathing heavily, as if he is about to die. When someone presents his favorite carrot, he won't take a bite. Only when no one is around does Tom stand up to enjoy the delicious carrot. But as soon as someone approaches, he instantly resumes his act with half a carrot in his mouth. Tom is 8 this year, mastered this trick 2 years ago. At first, the owner was scared by his behavior, thinking he was sick, and even took him to the veterinarian, but everything checked out fine. It turns out he was just a communist horse. Just a communist horse the entire time. No word on the glue factory yet, but I'll keep an eye on it. Let's see. Dave Rubin posted this. Philadelphia. Sane people must leave blue cities. It's only time till they're burning buildings and strapping on suicide vests. Nobody is coming to fix this unless Trump sends in the feds. So, this is Philadelphia. It really does seem like the left just does want to destroy Western civilization. Happy 4th. So they're sitting, let's see. So they've got American flag, Israeli flag there. They're burning. So nice. How aspirational. Lunatics. Absolute lunatics. These are products of the higher learning institutes. The institutions of higher learning. This is just decades of zombie Soviet propaganda allowed to just run free. That's why they seem like zombies, by the way. That's why I call it zombie propaganda, too. There's no Soviet Union anymore, but the propaganda, the seeds they planted, continue to live on to the point where, like, they literally use the same rhetoric, like the same sentences that were used in Soviet propaganda, like in 1960 and 1950. Like they just say the same things. It's like it's not even original. They haven't even really come up with anything original in all that time. They're literally just saying the same things. It's incredible. If only they could all be sent to Gaza. If only. Let's see. What's going on here? Another one bites the dust from a man of memes. So here's Charlie Kirk dealing with that deranged leftist again. Let's see. Deranged leftist challenges Charlie Kirk, gets dragged away screaming. I have not seen this one. I'll be watching this one with you guys. Let's enjoy it.
Hi, welcome to A&M. I had so first of all, Draggyland was brought up at the beginning of this.
I know minimally about that.
Okay,
just to be fair.
great. A lot of students here do know a bit about it, and if you wouldn't mind, can I poll the crowd? Do y'all think that Draggyland should have been allowed to happen here? Okay.
I don't know if that was the response you expected.
No, it actually was the response I expected. So I'll fill you in on it. Draggyland, organized by a student group, wanted to have their drag show like 3 weeks ago. I think where you're about to have your event later this afternoon. A&M's Board of Regents banned it. They went to court. The judge, who was appointed by a conservative president, I believe it was George Bush, one of them, I don't know. They said there was a First Amendment violation and that they should be allowed to have the event, and they proceeded to have the event. It's banned now because Texas is challenging it, but I actually think this could be a huge win for middle ground and the First Amendment. If the crowd said Draggyland should not be able to happen, I think if you want to reach across the aisle here, you could say that maybe I don't like drag, but it should be allowed to happen because I don't like the precedent that it sets if we ban drag.
Okay, again, I don't know enough about it. If you remember my answer, I did say there are speech implications, free speech implications.
Yeah, it was
'cause they're
18
adults.
plus. It was 18 plus.
That's what I said, right?
Yeah.
So again, I don't know enough about it to comment on it. So I know what I know. I know what I don't know. But again, I'm of the opinion that more speech is better than less speech.
Okay, so you would think that it should have been allowed to happen on campus.
I don't know enough about the details of what was happening there.
You came to A&M and you didn't know about this, and
no, I visited 27 campuses across the country.
I mean, it's a big issue. It's affecting a lot of universities right now. UT is going through this. Okay, and then that was my easy question. Here's a harder one. So back in, I believe.
So I just want to say, like, nobody cared about drag shows when they were just happening in gay bars, right? It was all adults. It wasn't until they insisted on doing it in front of children. And people still do. Does anybody care what they do in bars amongst consenting adults having drag shows? It's a kind of entertainment. Nobody actually cares. It's just keep it away from children. That's it. It's very simple. So I'm assuming this is Draggyland was in fact, let's look it up. Hold on. Let's find out.
Fact check.
Okay. Let's see. All right, let's take a look. So Texas A&M can't ban Draggyland drag show. All right. Federal judges temporarily blocked Texas A&M University system from enforcing a ban on drag shows being held at its special event venues. The ruling allowed Draggyland, an event scheduled for March 27th at the flagship university's Rudder Theater in College Station, to go on as planned. It's an annual pageant where contestants wear clothing or makeup that often but does not always run counter to their expected gender identity. Let's see. The contestants dance and answer questions afterwards about what drag and alphabet culture means to them. Let's see. Anyone who finds the performers offensive has a simple remedy: don't go. I mean, I agree with that as long as it's in an adult space. If it's public, then all of a sudden there's a different issue if there are children around. Let's see. It doesn't say anything about that, though. Let's see. They passed Senate Bill 12, which prohibited performers from dancing suggestively or wearing certain prosthetics in front of children. How anybody could be opposed to that is just totally baffling to me. All right, but let's get back to it.
2023, there was a trans shooter, right? You remember that Nashville shooter?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So on your Twitter, you tweeted a lot about it. You tweeted about how like trans ideology is corrupting the
And you're going to
youth
try to
and blah,
connect
blah,
me
blah.
with the Florida State shooter. Do you
Yeah,
know that?
I'd like
do you know
to see-
actually?
no, I'd like
do you
to
know
see
actually that he
you
was a fan of Dean
disavow
and
that.
Parker and not of me the
Yeah,
last 2
'cause
years?
he was going to
was a
Turning Point
left-winger.
USA
Do you
rally.
know that he
He was
actually
going to
not
Turning
true.
Point USA
wrong,
rally.
wrong. He showed up to one meeting 3 years ago. In fact, lost contact. Joined the left-wing groups on campus and
Wore a
became
MAGA hat.
wrong, and then actually
Oh, yeah,
became
there's
a
a photo
fan.
of it.
In fact, became a fan of left-wing influencers and became so anti-Trump, pathological hatred. So how dare you come up here and try to connect me with a school shooter when in fact
There's
we
an
are the ones
interview with
that
a
are
guy at
denouncing
that
it.
campus saying that he was
and
at
we are
Turning Point
repudiating
USA.
it. And so there
I'd
is
like
no
to see you
connection.
disavow
In
it.
fact, of
We'll
course I
find out
disavow
more
it. I
soon.
disavow violence in every single
I'd
form.
like you
But
to
shame on you
acknowledge that your
to try to
rhetoric
connect me to a hold on. Shame on you to try to connect me with someone that did an act of violence that has had no connection with the organization for 3 years, that became a liberal and was connected with the left-wing
Became a
influencers
liberal.
that are here. He was more connected with the circus show than with Turning Point USA. You should
Yeah,
know your
I'm-
facts before
I'm
coming
su-
up to the
I'm
mic.
sure
Thank you very
that's
much.
all
We'll get to the next
super
question.
true.
Thank
I'm
you.
sure that's all super true.
Thank you very much. You should get your facts right the next time. Next question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, Dean is sitting over there waiting.
Oh, I know. Oh, I'm well aware. Thank you. It's funny.
I'd like to see you disavow it.
I
I'd
just
like to-
did.
I haven't seen a single tweet.
All right, I just did.
They're not interested in what you have to say, right? This guy's got his mind made up. Reality means nothing. Just nope. I know how I want it to be, and it will just be that because it has to be. Crazy people. I don't think is there any university in the Western world that should get public funds at this point? Are there any good ones left? Planet of Memes, your chances of being attacked by a porta potty are very low, but never zero. Uh-oh. Oh, dear. Attacked by a porta potty or a bear? I don't know. That's a tough one. It's a very tough one. What are you guys saying? Let's get back to the chat for a minute. Let's see. Turtle says defund universities. I couldn't agree more. Nick A. Nickerson says Greta Thunberg wants to move to Gaza. I was saying she was a commie all along. Now, she's definitely transitioned right into the anti-capitalism, and now she's got the kafaya, and she's just a Hamasnik. I hope she moves to Gaza. I really hope she moves there. Maybe she will learn something. When I was calling her a commie right from the start, as well as, one of those kids from Children of the Corn. Let's see. Izzy says, Draggyland sounds gay. That's an excellent guess. Izzy says, not that there's anything wrong with that. And there isn't. Let's see. Izzy says, if kids aren't there, it's all fine. Exactly. Nobody cared. Izzy says that nobody cared about drag shows. They aren't new. The only issue is drag for kids. Yes. Why they insist on putting this stuff in front of children is just but the fact that it's even considered, like, there's just a deep moral confusion involved here. Like the left seems determined to try and erase that line between child and adult. And it's very creepy and weird and dangerous. G Flood says, I knew a guy that did drag shows a few years back. He only identified as a woman when he was in character. The rest of the time, that was a gay dude. Yeah. And they've been doing it for decades, right? And nobody cared for a long time. People watched The Birdcage. Nobody was scandalized by that. People laughed. They thought it was funny. It's just, the whole wanting to do it do it in front of children and then getting children to do it as well. The whole, it's not complicated. JDL says, this is a great point. Drag racing is a motorsport. It is. I get confused between the two. Let's see. A Nickerson says, indoctrination. Yes, indeed. Lots of that going around these days. Nevada says, you're supposed to be learning things to support yourself for the rest of your life, and this is what you focus on. Give me a break. They're turning out revolutionaries on purpose. Let's see. Rosie says, my first job post-college at housing next to a drag racing strip, Friday and Saturday nights, very loud. But that's different, though. It's different. It's not the same thing. Let's see. Ottawa James says, aha, another commie. So many of them. Nawada says, what a loser. Professional protestors. Nawada says, now that's some crazy shit. Yeah. All right. Let's keep going. What are we? 2 hours and 30 minutes already. Wow. From Dave Landau. I showed you one from him, Fantastic Film Facts. The last one I showed you from him was about those midgets on Wizard of Oz. And apparently they were all degenerate gamblers and alcoholics and constantly fighting. And they were like pimping out like the lady dwarfs. Interesting stuff. It's a whole new spin on the Wizard of Oz. What's this one here? Candyman, apparently.
Hi, I'm Dave Landau, and this is Fantastic Film Facts. Did you know that on the set of Candyman, they used real bees, and Tony Todd agreed to put them in his mouth and all over his body only if he got paid $1,000 for every single time he got stung by a bee. He made between $23,000 and $27,000, depending on what report you read. But in the movie My Girl, when Macaulay Culkin got stung by bees, they just unleashed a bunch of bees onto a child actor, as if it was another day at work. Isn't Hollywood grand? I'm Dave Landau with Fantastic Film Facts. Hi,
That's pretty funny. I'm not sure if it's as good as the degenerate midgets from Wizard of Oz, but pretty good. Pretty good. Let's see. I meme, therefore I am posted this. So let's see. This looks like one of the woke mind virus things. Liberal complains about being offered Pellegrino at work. People like this will never be happy employees, or I guess probably happy ever anywhere. Let's take a look.
I'm at a customer's house and I'm working, and it's a really pretty house. And I am not a fan of a certain thing that people with money always like to offer me. And it's so gross. And I don't know if it's just me, but I
People with money are bad.
hate to see this shit coming. This nasty ass fuzzy fucking water. Who drinks this shit?
Who would drink carbonated water? Only rich people. All right, Che Guevara. I feel like you're maybe protesting too much here. There's that glitch. There's that glitch. It's never going away, by the way. The glitch is with us forever, I think. And good. I want it to stay. I like the glitch now. I love the glitch now. Glitch forever. But anyway, as I was saying, this Che Guevara here is very desperately trying to let us know what I guess anti-capitalist or something is. Eat the rich, whatever. revolutionary, I suppose. I mean, what those rich people in their carbonated water. That's nasty ass stuff. Sure. She's street too. That's the thing I really love about it, is that she's street. She's really street.
Bougie, bubbly
Bougie. She said bougie.
shit is disgusting. I take it.
Yeah. Carbonated water is disgusting. It's only for rich people.
I do take it and I drink it because I'm polite. But it's bad. Okay? Who likes bubbly water? I need to know. Am I an anomaly? Am I the only person who thinks?
Yes, you're a weirdo. You're a weirdo. You're saying bougie and rich people and carbonated water and it's nasty ass. Yeah, it's just you. Normal people don't think like this. I mean, it's not like I love Pellegrino or any, club soda or something. Like I can't live without it. It's just that, like, it's not gross, clearly. It's just water, bubbly water. It's not nasty. It's just water. That's it. What, when she gets her communist paradise, there's not going to be any of that anymore because it's nasty ass? Because is that part of the class struggle? To get rid of that bougie, that bourgeois carbonated water?
That this shit is disgusting.
Okay, we know that you don't really think that. We know that you don't actually think that carbonated water is disgusting because you can't. Because that's impossible, because it's just carbonated water. We know you're performing here badly.
Doesn't matter the brand. Gross. And then those of you that drink this shit with like liquor, y'all are some badasses. Okay, bye.
Just, I don't know. It's just one person, I guess. It's just one person. Shouldn't lose faith in all of humanity just because of this one dingbat. But it's hard, people. It's hard. I have no idea how hard it is on me curating all of this insanity 3 times a week. Have we got anything else before we call it a night? Have we got anything else? I think there was one thing we saved up here. Let's see. Seeing all of that. Sometimes stuff goes missing. What's this? Oh, should we arrest Dr. Fauci and Bill Gates? This is from Liz Churchill. Staggering 3,328% increase in child mortality in Alberta, Canada without explanation. Well, I don't usually like to end on something dark, but let's take a look.
Most people would do it at the beginning of an event, but given that our event was about answering a question, and that question was, who can explain or why can we explain the amount of unexplained deaths in Alberta children? And yesterday I had indicated that I made a mistake, that the number of unexplained deaths was not 350% as we had stated. It's actually 3,328%. And so I apologize for the mistake, but it was we couldn't believe it when we did it. And I made a mistake with the decimal point. So it's actually 3,328%. Now someone says, Daryl, you made that number up. I did not make that number up. I wish I did. That number comes from AHS data, to which we have posted on our website at injectionoftruth.ca.
So I don't know who any of these people are. I've never heard of these people before, but let's ask Grok to explain this for us. The ex-post Liz Churchill references is a video claiming 3,328% increase in child mortality in Alberta, attributing it to the jabs without evidence, which contradicts fact checks indicating no such extreme increase and very few vaccine-related deaths in children. That is such an enormous number that is kind of hard to believe, but the claim originates from a group called An Injection of Truth, which misrepresented data on... I got to keep in mind, too, Grok is also woke. So it's not as woke as its other AI pals. It is woke, though, still. So I don't know. We would have to do a deeper dive into this to find out what's the truth. that is a staggering number. In fact, it's so staggering that I'm not going to just take their word for it. Although I have seen a lot of stuff talking about like sudden deaths and just healthy people dying, an increase in unexplained deaths. So I don't know, but I don't know anything about this, and we'd have to really take a further look into it. So, and I had not watched that actually before now. I was just saving that. All right. So let's actually maybe can we do one more ad? One more ad? Can we do one more ad? Let's do a Truth Social. Why not? Before we call it a night. If you're looking for a great place online for news, discussion, anti-communism, and entertainment, then check out Truth Social, Donald Trump's social media website. You'll get breaking news stories and commentary from top media figures. If you want to see Trump's legendary Truth Social posts, then get on Truth Social today. Join a growing community of patriots on a free speech platform designed to avoid communist censorship and cancellation by big tech commies. Make your voice heard. Join the movement. Join Truth Social. I like that one because it's really short. Really short. All right. Nevada says she's the victim. She had to take it and drink it. Yet the bubbly water. That bougie bubbly water. I mean, what do they think? She's like some sort of capitalist drinking bubbly water like that? As he says, I wouldn't judge people offering me something for free. I know. Unless she just had to complain. All right. Rosie asks, wonder what business she is in. I think she's in the dingbat business. Dingbat business. All right, G Flood's off. Well, we're going to sign off now anyway. Anyway, have a good night, G Flood. Let's see. Check a couple more here, and then we'll get out of here. Let's see. Rosie says, Truth Social, more growls, more commie hate, more free speech. 10 out of 10. Thank you, Rosie. Izzy says, I'm still trying to figure out the fluid dynamics demo. Just keep watching. You'll get it eventually. Anyway, folks, that's it. I'm done for tonight. 2 hours and 38 minutes. I got to figure out a time for a premium only one because we got to do 5 hours. And I'm kind of, we got started kind of late this month because I had my little road trip there. So we got to put in 5 hours of that at some point. So we got to figure out a time to do that, but I can't do it right now. So maybe I'll just jump on and just as a surprise sometime and see if anybody shows up. But everybody, especially the people in the chat, thank you so much. If it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't even bother doing this because you're basically half the show now. And I know that I'm not speaking to just a cold and different void when you're there. So thank you so much. I hope you keep coming back. We'll see everybody on Friday night. It's Tuesday, right? Yeah, we'll see everybody on Friday night, 7:30 Pacific time, 10:30 Eastern time. Everybody have a great week. I will see you soon.